With the failure of the health care bill, it looks like Congress will not be able to pass the cap and trade bill either. But the EPA has already issued, what's called an endangerment finding, declaring that it has the authority to regulate carbon dioxide emissions under the Clean Air Act passed in 1990. And the administration has threatened that if Congress doesn't pass the cap and trade bill, the executive branch will simply impose these regulations on its own supposed authority. Now, a bill has already been proposed in Congress to explicitly strip the EPA of that authority. Would you support and promote that bill?
Jim McKelvey? I would support that 100% to strip them of that power. To do such a thing, to call carbon dioxide a pollutant, would be an absolute detriment to our economy. And that's got to be stopped in its tracks, period.
Absolutely. We'll just defund them. That Congress holds the purse string. Congress has the power. They can do these things. We can stop the EPA by just defunding them. That's a simple solution right there. Carbon dioxide is not a pollutant.
Make no mistake, Ron Ferrin, make no mistake that the health care bill had nothing to do with health care. Cap and trade had nothing to do with the environment. It is all about controlling you. It's about controlling me. What they cannot accomplish in the ballot box, they will accomplish through legislation. What they can't accomplish through voted on legislation, they will pass laws and subvert the Constitution and the Congress. I believe we're absolutely necessary, as each liberty-loving congressman must make sure that we do not allow this administration to carry out their socialist agenda.
Feda Morton. I totally agree with Ron. I think the whole move to make carbon a pollutant, and I'm a science teacher, carbon is not a pollutant. It is part of our body and our makeup. It is the life chemical, life element that keeps us alive. But the EPA cannot, that it's unconstitutional. They're subverting and going around the legal process of Congress making the laws, and they need to be defunded. And we have to watch out for UN treaties that can come in around and try to legislate through UN treaties for the same purpose.
Laurence Verga, all the candidates that preceded me said everything very well, that I would stop it from happening. It is very unconstitutional, and we need to stop it on both the executive level and the EP level from occurring.
Mr. Boyd.
I think everybody in this room would probably agree that we need to be good stewards of our environment, and everybody wants that to happen. But this cap and trade bill is not being good stewards of our environment. A lot of it is built on science that is not accurate, that says that the United States can, or that man can control the weather. And I think that's something that we absolutely do not need. I think it would be a job killer in this country if we ever passed anything like that, and we need to stay away from it. We can be good stewards of our environment without going to such extremes as to ruin our economy.
Here's the last short question, but one that is less concretely political, but is concrete in its own way. Please name the moral, political, or economic thinkers who have been most influential on your view of the proper role of government. Sorry, Mr. McPadden.
Okay, well, my favorite philosopher when it comes to government would have to be Marcus Cicero. Cicero was one who came up with the natural law, the rights of man, and that's where the majority of the foundation of our Constitution, or the philosophy, the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution come from the natural rights of man as dictated by Cicero. So he would have to be first and foremost. The rest of them came after him, Locke and Adam Smith. They took their ideas of the free markets and liberty from the ideas of Marcus Cicero. Thanks.
Mr. Ferrin.
I was actually reading something on Locke today, and I thought, well, you know, philosophy, people who really had have affected my life have been in my lifetime. I'm not that deep of a thinker. And being conservative, I don't mind giving an answer that maybe some people like, maybe some people don't like, and if you don't like it, that's your problem. Number one, Ronald Reagan, very important. Number two, my pastor for many years, Jerry Falwell.
Ms. Morton.
I've been reading the 5,000-year leap, and as Mike pointed out, reading about the history all the way back to Cicero and how he, even back in those days in a pagan society, came up with the natural laws that our Constitution is based on. So I find very rewarding reading that book. Thomas Paine with The Common Man and how the natural law can be applied to common man, and so that common man can be effective and be productive in a free enterprise system. And then Patrick Henry, one of our greatest fighters for liberty, is an inspiration to all of us as he, give us liberty, give us death. And I think we're in that same battle again here today as we look at the tyrannical government that we have with the Obama administration. And I find him to be a great inspiration to me.
Laurence Verga, I'm very inspired by the economists Freeman, Laffer, and Moore, and how they helped direct Ronald Reagan into supply-side economics, which helped this country out of the doldrums of a couple bad decades of economics and gave us about 30 years of growth and prosperity.
That's a good question. You're looking for political, philosophical, and economical, so I'll address each one of those. I think that obviously Jefferson would have been a great philosopher from the get-go, and speak from this city, I would have to say him as the top priority. Reagan, of course, was not only political but philosophical as well, and would fall into that category. And to get a little more modern, I think from an economic standpoint, I have a great aspiration and respect for Thomas Sowell right now.
Mr. McKelvey.
One would be Ronald Reagan, who's been an amazing inspiration to me, but the other, again, is the book, The 5,000-Year Leap. I would love to see every American read that book. It's The 5,000-Year Leap, and what it discusses is the Constitution from the perspective who wrote it, why did they write it, what was their education, what was their intent, what did they see as the future of our republic. If every American read this book, my God, we'd have a much improved country.